Welcome to Energizing Life with AKR Fitness. I'm Jace, your host. And like usual, I've got Lindsay here.
Hello.
And Lindsay, this is a bit of a special episode today.
It's very special.
We've got a special guest in the building, AKR Member Lizzi Power.
Yay!
Hi, Lizzie.
Welcome.
Hi,
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. You're very professional, both of you.
Lizzie, firstly, tell the listeners, who is Lizzi Power?
Well, I think that's...
Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
The year was 1800 AD. Go for it.
So, what about my...
Who are you? Where are you from?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a little bit of background.
Let's go to the start.
Okay, so many people don't actually know this, but my real name isn't actually Lizzi Power.
I'm not going to lie. I worked here for about 2 years before I clocked onto that.
I think Fabio still thinks it's Lizzi Power.
I know.
Shocker.
I know. I probably should have exposed that.
We should put a spoiler alert at the very start of this video.
So
my actual surname is Howarth, but
It's a very Aberdonian surname.
It's a very North of England surname. But you know, I'm going to just tell you how the name Power came about because it's a really cool little story.
and it's important.
I don't actually know the story, so I'm buzzing to hear this.
Well, one of my really good friend's daughter, when she was a little girl, she was autistic, and we used to just play this game all the time, repetitively, where we'd just pick up anything and go, "I have the power," and then I'd put it down, and she'd pick it up and go, "I have the power," and we could do this for hours, and we used to play it all the time. And she never ever got bored of it. And then eventually, over a period of time, my name Howarth just morphed into Power. And she would start saying, "Mum, Lizzi Power says this," or "Mum, Liz Power says that." So
that's amazing.
And it's stuck.
It just stuck. And what was interesting about Fatima was that her granddad was the president of Gambia. And I said, when the granddaughter of the president of Gambia gives you the surname Power,
that's it.
You take that.
And you don't change
and
it.
And you don't change it. And that was probably about 25 years ago.
So at that point, you head straight to the nearest council office and
change
legally change that name, please. Thank you.
I honestly thought it had something to do with being a member of AKR, like with all the lifts and stuff that you were learning.
But, well, nobody just tied in really well. So that was where it all came from. Okay. So that's why everything's Lizzi Power. So that's how that came about. But a lot of people on social media only would really know me as Lizzi Power. So
let's keep it that way.
Let's keep it that way. So saying. Just in these four walls.
Amazing. So tell me, after being named Lizzi Power, what else happened? Were you in Aberdeen at the time, or?
Yeah, that was when I was probably in my early 20s. I know.
That's another stories for another podcast.
And then...
Can you remember your early 20s?
No. Like we said, that's just a different podcast.
So early 20s?
Yeah, maybe mid-20s. And then shortly after that, I went off and did my infamous being a holiday rep, which again is a story for another podcast.
I'm so glad you didn't just say I went travelling. It's all I've had this entire podcast.
It was when I went travelling.
So how long did you spend doing that?
About 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah. So
5 years as a holiday rep.
Yeah.
You must have seen some things.
Oh, I've seen so many things, done so many things.
So what, coming back in your 30s back to Aberdeen, or?
I was in my mid-30s.
Okay.
But I went in 2000 off to do that, and then I came back, and then I went to uni as a mature student, and
you must have seen some things and did something.
To another podcast. So and then started my working life somewhere around about my late 30s.
It's quite good though. Like, you enjoyed your life and you've been moving around and doing things, and then let's get working.
Let's get working. I need to start. I'll get a pension or something because I'll be retired.
Become an adult.
I need to start adulting, and that kind of was literally actually true.
So when you became an adult and you got your job and things like that, was exercise in your life at all?
No, not really. I think my idea, and this is something that I think the audience might has said before, is that people, when they think about starting exercising, they think about running, and I was probably one of those people, and I did it in that, I'm just going to put on some running shoes and go running, and that'll be me running.
So there was no structure behind it?
There was no structure, no training, no reading up about it. I mean, it was a really long time ago, so I don't even think there was really the internet then, but But yeah, so I just went off and did it, and then, as is my usual way, I just did too much too soon, got injured, rested, did it again.
The familiar story
very
of
much.
that cycle
of Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah. So you thought running was maybe the only way back then to, what did you have a goal in mind, or was it just, I just want to start exercising?
I just wanted to start exercising, but also quite liked, I think because I maybe had a bit of a fear, because, like, going back to when you were at school, and I was always rubbish at everything, so I never got picked for anything. I was always the last to get picked at everything. So I thought, if I'm going to do this, I want to just do it on my own, because I don't want anyone to see me. I don't want anyone to beat me, or anyone to not beat me. I just want to do this on my own. So I think that was why I did it, because I thought it was a solitary thing that I could do.
Mm-hmm. What did exercising mean to you at that point?
Well, it was probably all around weight loss.
Weight loss.
It was all about weight loss, definitely, because like a lot of people in their 20s and 30s, I was like going out at the weekends and all of that stuff. So yeah, it was all about weight loss for me. Although I did quite like the idea of, I did like running. I enjoyed doing it. It wasn't hard. It wasn't an effort for me to do, and I would still like to be able to do that in the future, which is something that I'm working towards. But yeah, that was what exercise meant to me. For most of my life.
A little bit of running. You got injured. You felt a little bit frustrated, maybe, with all the injuries you were picking up.
I was never going to progress.
Yeah, and you almost hit a wall.
Yeah.
Totally so what brought you through these doors then?
Oh no, this is something I'm actually really interested hearing from the horse's mouth, because I've heard numerous stories of when people first met Lizzi Power when she first came in, but I've never heard it from you. So how did you get to AKR?
Well, so I lived in Torry and I worked at the hospital, and I walked everywhere. I still try and walk everywhere. So when you do the same beaten path every single day, you notice everything, which is a blessing and a curse, because it gets really boring, this walk. But so you kind of notice everything.
You're looking for a new.
You're looking for, oh, look at that, flowers are coming out now. Oh, that one, oh, look at that garden. It's all like that. So when I saw AKR, I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? What's a new thing? What's
that white sign with the blue light that used to work? Does now.
Looking at the audience. So then one day I kind of looked at it on my phone. I was like, I'm just going to look at the website. So I looked, and then kind of said about small group classes, and I was like, oh, that sounds okay, because obviously I never wanted to go in a gym. I was never a gym person.
Why did you feel that was?
Just because I didn't feel like it was an environment for me. I just didn't know how any of the machines worked. I just thought everybody else did know how all the machines worked. I just didn't want to be in a gym not knowing how to do everything myself. So, and I think I thought it would be really boring, because I quite like being outside and all of that stuff. So I thought it would be really boring.
So the fear of it, and almost overwhelming, daunting,
intimidating.
Scary.
Yeah, super intimidating. And I'm not like somebody who is afraid to try new things. I think I just made that decision in my head that it just wasn't for me. It was
maybe portrayed like that.
Yeah. And it probably was like that in certain
Well, you
gyms.
felt it was.
Yeah, absolutely. So
so what was it about, our website, or there must have been something. It wasn't just the sign that pulled you in. What was it?
It was really welcoming. I remember reading it and it being really welcoming. So the language in it wasn't about like high tech, strategic this or strategic that.
Can I get can somebody tell me what was that word? Commend.
Welcoming.
Welcoming.
How did you not get that?
I thought it was very welcoming. I was like, is that the way? Is that like the way something's written?
Yeah, welcoming.
Welcoming.
Well, it's very welcoming.
Just the accent.
Yeah,
Here we go.
it's just my accent.
The accent's played up.
And about small group classes, and it was for everybody, and it was like I didn't feel like I would have to be a certain kind of way. And I also thought to myself at the same time as well, you've got to put your big girl pants on and do something about this. So it wasn't, so it was the planets aligned a little bit, I think.
Taking yourself out your comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm like, you can do this. You just have to go in and ask. You don't have to. To perform.
So you did. You walked through the door, and then what happened next?
Yeah. So then I spoke to Mike, and I got what was
An
the thing?
induction?
An induction where I had to come and like stand on one leg and face Mecca.
Oh, wow. Now, that's
During
going
the full
back
moon.
That's going back a long way. That's going back a long way. Things have changed since then.
Well, but I quite liked that.
Uh-huh.
Mike's shaking his head in the background.
Don't say
Did
that.
I do that?
But I quite liked it actually because I could do everything.
Oh, nice.
So it was like every mate said, right, well, can you do this now? Can you do that now? And I was like, yeah, I can do that.
So it's giving you a little boost
So it
within
gave me
your
a-
first
yeah,
session.
Already you've got that sense of achievement.
Yeah, I really liked it. So
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, well, if this is what I have to be able to do this, then yeah, okay, I can do this.
Uh-huh.
So I actually quite liked that.
So instantly you felt comfortable in your surroundings.
This is okay. If this is what the rules, then I can do.
If this is all I have to do,
then I can
amazing.
do it.
So you initially came in with the goal with a lot of people is weight loss. I want to exercise to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel like that, or did things change throughout your journey?
Gosh, well, that's the thing about AKR. It isn't just about weight loss, is it? And I suppose in the first instance, yeah, that was my goal. But I think I thought I would have to be better to be able to go to a gym than I was. So when I came and I found out that I didn't have to be better, then I just was like, this is really fun. This is really enjoyable.
Okay.
So, and then
It's a new experience for you.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I still always remember, like, Mike always reminds me of this, is that because at first you have to do, like, everything really gradually building up, which is fine, and that's good, but then when you start being allowed to do other things.
That's brilliant. So you got the basics down.
Yeah,
You took your time with them.
I'm like,
and
can I do
then-
this? No, you've still got to build up and you've still got to develop your posture, which is all fab. It is so fab. Because then when you're actually allowed to go and do, because I'm not going to go down the Jenna story because I've told that story about 1,000
you probably
times.
should. Give us that story. I think that's important part of the story.
Well, because back in the early days, so sometimes it would only be like me and you and another person, or because it was really at the early stages. So you were like, you were, it was, everything you did was like, there was nothing to hide behind.
We're going back to just to,
all eyes
for
on
the
you.
listeners. I don't know if we've said this already, but this is 2015.
Yeah, so that's nearly 6 years ago when the doors had just opened. And then there was one day, I think it was just me and Mike and this girl, Jenna. And of course, because I had my, like, for everything, when can I do that? When can I do that?
You still like that.
Yeah, when am I getting to do that? And then there's this girl, Jenna, and she was doing, like, dumbbell rows with 15 kilo dumbbells. And I was still at the point where I was only allowed to pick up 5s or something. And then I was less like, who's she, Mike? And Mike's like, yeah, she's a rugby player for Scotland or something like that. And it's like,
Inspiring. It was like you wanted to get there.
yeah, because I don't think in the media or anywhere, kind of like at that time, there was really portrayal of women doing strong things. Not really. It was.
It wouldn't.
I'm just going to go over there now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, Jace. Why is that, Jace?
No, you're totally.
Patriarchy.
I apologise on behalf of all male species.
Like, it's so true. Like, it wasn't. And we're not going to get down that road, but you were seeing that for the first time. In a gym that you'd never really been a part of, and you're seeing this girl lift a weight that potentially you could do too. That must have been.
I was like, could I do that?
Yeah.
Could I do that? And so that was like super inspiring because I think it was a bit of a light switch. And I think from that point on, I kind of stopped really worrying about aspiring to lose weight and started aspiring to be able to do dumbbell rows with 15 kilo 50? Dumbbells. Yeah. And then there was that like day when I was allowed to pick up the trap bar to do a farmer's march. And,
my goodness.
God.
Tell us that story.
You've only gone and mentioned farmers.
Oh my God.
Well, Mike always says that was like the first day that I really properly fell in love with being strong.
Yeah.
Because it looked like something that you'd see on World's Strongest Man or something.
Which you love.
Which I love now.
That is a Christmas tradition now, isn't it?
Is that a Christmas tradition?
Quick side cap, who's your favourite strongman?
Oh, well, I've really enjoyed watching...
I'll put her on the spot.
No, the Scottish guys from the Highlands.
Oh, the
I really
Luke and
Stoltman.
Inverbervie, are they?
Yeah,
No,
not
Inver Gordon.
Inver Gordon.
Yeah.
I've really loved watching them this year. They've just been fab.
So you picking up that trap bar, did that like transition you into that? Or?
Yeah, because I suppose it made me realise that it's this stuff that you see on the TV. Like before, I might have watched it for entertainment, but now I'm pretty much going, oh my God, like wow, like
I can do that.
Yeah.
What can you? Yeah, well, I was like, you can do that. Yeah,
but I've not tried in a while.
But I would really, like I suppose watching Eddie Hall deadlift half a ton.
Yeah.
And that's even been beaten now, and you're just like, oh my God, if I could deadlift 70 kilos on a good day, I think I'm doing really well. So
the day that you picked up that trap bar,
I was like, it looked like something that you would see on World's Strongest Man or something. Of course it wasn't. It was like 20 kilo trap bar that I was picking up and carrying. But then there was like, I can put 5 kilos on it now.
Amazing.
And that kind of really transformed how I felt about why I come to AKR. And of course that's not even going into the whole like community.
Oh, we'll get there. Don't you worry about that
stuff.
Definitely. We'll definitely get into that. Tell me, on you go.
I was just going to say, it sounds like seeing that progression from the 5 kilo dumbbell to get to the 15 kilo dumbbell was really important, and you really appreciated seeing the progression through it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I probably have been that person that comes to AKR that goes, can I do this? Can I try that? Can I pick this up? Can I go at that? And blah, blah, blah. And I think it's just because I always just loved seeing what everybody else was doing, like Kareen hanging upside down on the rings. I'm like, oh my God, I totally need to hang upside down on the rings.
And did you do it?
Yeah, I totally did. But like handstands, like, oh God, I remember doing handstands when I was a kid, and I was could totally do handstands. Of course I could do it now. And that's another thing about gender, isn't it? It's like when you're at school, girls, when I was at school, girls, when they went to high school, you had to wear a school uniform with a skirt, so you're discouraged from doing handstands and roly-polies and all of these things that you enjoyed doing as a kid. So you forget how to do it, and you
almost forced to grow up.
You're forced to grow up and not do those things. Whereas for men, I suppose it's different. You can do whatever you want because you're wearing shorts and trousers as you're going through your teenage years. So coming back to AKR was like the first time that kind of was like,
was it almost like a playground?
Yeah, it was a total playground. It was a total playground.
So from that trap bar, sticking with the sort of fitness side of it, how's your journey been from then to now in terms of the fitness side? Like anything, injuries, anything like that?
Oh gosh, well it's been just a journey of like highs and lows and highs and lows and highs and lows. I think it's really when I came to AKR, there was a lot, we learned a lot about methodology and about strategies and about actually what direction success looks like.
Could you tell us more about that? What did you learn from that?
Well, I think probably one of the best things that I've learned from AKR is about habits.
Okay.
And I think that actually I got really, really, really into like reading about habits and the psychology of habits. I've had like really long conversations with Mike about habits along the way as well.
What sort of examples do you have with habits that have helped you along the way?
Well, I think I've always been someone who quite likes routines anyway. So I feel like I like routines. So I understand routines and I like them. But so in the first instance, I know that. So when I first started, I know that if I was coming from work to AKR, I would be much likely to walk through the doors if my gym stuff was already here. So I used to come in on the way to work, put my gym stuff here. So there was literally, it didn't matter if it was raining, snowing, hailstoning, if it was the middle of winter and it was pitch black and I was freezing and I had a rubbish day, I still had to get through the doors because my stuff was here.
You had to come in for it.
I had to come in for
Planning
it.
for your worst self.
Yes.
Plan for your worst self. So these are like little things that, there's a ton of stuff like that. And I suppose it's all about the stuff about if you can't control your environment, about where you put your food so you're not seeing it, prepare all your lunches, make sure you do your food prep on Sunday if that's going to be an issue, and all of that stuff. So
was this all things that you've learned through being a part of AKR?
Through being a part of AKR. And that was all really great, and that was all really, really helpful and really, really helped. But then there is that about then something happens that, like when I fractured my ankle, and suddenly I found myself sitting at home and I couldn't walk everywhere and I couldn't come to AKR.
Which you were used to.
Which is what part of my so I was like panic. But then I think I realised that because all I could do was just sit with my foot up, So, but then I realised that, you know, the whole stuff about food prep, the whole stuff about kind of like managing where all your food is around the house, getting a good sleep routine.
So would you say this was all part of your when life works list?
This is all part, this is like, I think in my head, I felt like the habits that I'd worked at for the previous 2 years was still there and really supported me through this time when, like, it felt like scaffolding. So when suddenly I was a bit wobbly and where I might normally have just fallen off the edge and just said, I'm going to eat pies and I can't do anything anyway, so I might as well just...
That's it.
Yeah, it's all
forget about it.
Yeah, which is that kind of like cycle when things don't go right. But I felt like, you know, it was I would remember that being a real kind of like lesson to me about how your habits can prop you up when things are really difficult.
It must have felt like a real turning point.
It was a huge turning point. I felt like I wanted to write about it.
You should have.
I felt like I really wanted to write about it. And then I got like really interested in it and I started reading. And then I was all like, actually, if you just tweak your habits, you know, you can achieve this. And if you just do this, you could do this. And you get into the understanding a little bit about like, oh, if you do this, if this is the habit, if you do this behavior, then this is the habit. And
you seem really enthusiastic and excited about all this.
Oh, well, do you know, and it's come in handy so many times since then, because I think it gave me loads of confidence so that the next time things don't go according to plan.
Which happens in life.
Which happens all the time.
It's part of life.
Part of life. You know that actually it's going to be okay and it's not going to be a stop-start cycle. You might not bounce back in a good a shape as when things went wrong, but you'll still always bounce back and it'll be okay.
Yeah, so building these habits, they're propping you up and
the scaffolding to keep...
I love that analogy, actually.
It actually felt like scaffolding.
We're taking that analogy.
Yeah, we are taking it. Yeah, that's amazing.
It was like you're on a roller coaster and you just kind of like, you get to this wobbly bit and you're like, oh, I'm not too, everything's going fine. And you go, I'm not too sure. But then you go, oh, it's all right. The habits are just there. They'll get you through this wobbly bit. And then you're coasting again. And that's literally what it felt like.
You're telling me life's like a roller coaster?
That's a song, isn't it?
So things like, you know, you talked about injuries there, but there's been could we maybe touch on Benjen and when he came along and tell us a little bit about him and how did you plan for that?
Yeah, so, well, I think, so Benjen came along.
Who is Benjen?
Benjen's so last year, I can't talk about Benjen without talking about Kizzy. So I'm just going to talk about that because that was also when, you know, like planning, life up and down, because everyone has a cat or a dog and, you know, and inevitably, you know, when something terrible happens and you lose them, that can be really, really traumatic. And I think it is about planning for that in as much as you just know that it's okay to give yourself downtime. So when I fractured my ankle, I had to have downtime. So then you know that when something traumatic like that happens in your life, it's okay to give yourself downtime. And again, those habits, you know, even if it's just the most basic of them about just, you know, knowing when to eat, what to eat, at what time to eat it, and just kind of focusing on the things that you can do to kind of just move you through the day.
So like your fallback plan.
You fall on autopilot. Things that you've been doing all the time, they just become your autopilot. It's like, this is what I'm going to eat, this is when I'm going to eat it. And that actually...
So even when you're feeling really low, you know, you've lost something or someone that's close to you, you're still able just to tick those boxes and get through the day without causing damage.
And actually it can be quite helpful because it's like a stepping stone, you know, to not focus on the grief because it's time to focus on this is the thing that I do at this time of the day. So actually, it's actually really helpful. And I think that is a little bit about that kind of like that scaffolding. Yeah. It just helps you move through that time to get to the other end.
So it can support through life.
Yes.
Damn bad.
Yeah, it's a structure. So when that happened with Kizzy, I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to give myself 2 weeks. And I'm going to just keep doing these stepping stones, get through the day, gives you something to focus on. And that, so I suppose it gives you a strategy how to manage difficult things that happen inevitably in your life. And then equally when we then decided to welcome Benjamin, the puppy, into our, like, honestly, I thought if I could manage a reactive rescue from Turkey, which is what Kizzy was, a puppy will be easy.
Easy.
Oh my God.
You know what to do.
Do you know, no one told me about teething, nobody told me about zoomies and bouncing off walls and attacking you and destroying your house. And oh God. But, and so, yeah, I literally had to put all my life on hold, but and work, you know, just doing my steps. And I remember again saying to Mike, it was like, I give myself 2 weeks or so just to get Benjamin embedded, but everything else stayed on hold, like friends, family, work, everything stayed on hold. The one thing that I got back to first that I prioritised was AKR, because I knew that then I would have something for me, I'd have people, I would keep my fitness going and my health.
And so it would probably give you the energy to deal with a puppy as well. You know?
Yeah, it was like my one-stop shop. It's like if I can only have one thing, it'll be AKR, because it's like my one-stop shop for lots of things.
Yeah.
So there were, it was kind of like knowing that you're going to have this thing happen. And it was the same with moving house. You know that
it could be chaotic.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to, if you prioritize AKR, just prioritize that and what's involved in that, and everything else is, you just has to wait a little bit.
You just show up.
Yeah, you just show up, and that's what I've been doing a lot since I moved house and got Benjamin and all of that stuff. I have literally just been showing up.
Has there been a time where you thought, I just can't be bothered going today?
Always. Because I do 7:15, so yeah, there's the days when I'm working from home that I actually have to be in my living room until 9 o'clock, that I think, I could just have a light in today and it'll be fine.
So what is it that
Gets you through?
Yeah, what gets you through? What helps you just show up?
Well, it's just your habit, isn't it? You've just got it to do. You've just got it to do. You've just got to get up.
Who you are now.
Yeah, I'm going to just sit and one of the, because Mike's really good with all his phrases that he has. And
Mike, we need an analogy. You're going to have to come over and give us an analogy.
Like, obviously the journey is the goal is the favourite one, but there was another one that Mike said, and I might not even remember it now, because I'm not even sure. I probably remember it, but it was like, mind over matter, ethics over mind, habit over ethics. Is that right, Mike?
Who knows?
I
don't think I've heard him say that.
Yeah, you said that to me once. Because I was like, one day when I was feeling like, I really didn't feel like coming today, and somebody went, it's mind over matter, and you went, ethics over mind and habits over ethics. Or so, and I just kind of thought, that's really good.
So that's where you're going to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just who I am, but also it's my habit.
Well, like, just going back to what you said there, the journey is the goal. When did that mindset shift for you?
Oh, yeah, like quite early. Mike, did you, when you were doing your presentation about habits, quite early on, you did a PowerPoint presentation for everybody in the gym, and that was really when I started digging into habits, and and the whole point of habits is to improve the journey, and that's the goal. So obviously when I came to AKR, it was all about weight loss, and it'd been stop, start. So for me to realise that that there wasn't an end, I wasn't actually going to come to AKR for a year, and then that would be the end. So there was like that. So that the whole journey.
So there was no end goal anymore.
There's no end goal anymore.
No.
I was doing my goal, and that actually.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Fitness is forever, and I'm living my goal every day.
Yeah, I'm doing my goal now. This is the goal, and that actually changed everything, and that's why I'm still here 6 years later or something, because it's just what I do now.
A founding.
Yeah, a founding member. Yeah,
amazing.
Totally. And even when I bought I probably told you this, when I bought my new house, like one of my number one requirement of this house was that it was going to be walking in the walk from the hospital to AKR.
Is that what you said to your husband?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to him. If I could have found a house just past AKR that I wanted, that would have been perfect. But I couldn't, so it had to at least be on the loop, so that I would, when I go back to work, I'll have literally no excuse to it'll just still be easy for me to come. Just making the right thing to do the easy thing to do.
Amazing. It's so good. Tell me, if you could tell the listener, like, what's one thing they could do to feel more energized in their life? I'm not trying to put you on the spot there. One thing they could do, say, over the next week to feel more energized in their life. And you don't have to say join AKR. Don't worry about that.
Do you know? It's a bit of yeah. There's probably a two thing. First of all, it's like find something you really love and do that, more of that. Or there's also something about find the thing in your life that you need to improve the most and try and find a way to focus on that. So actually, it's a bit of two opposite sides of the same coin a little bit. But I suppose coming from a background where I like to focus on things I'm passionate about, in order to feel more energized, I would try and do more of the things that I felt passionate about. Just to feel, if you wanted to feel more energized.
If you find something that you really enjoy
and do more of that.
And do more of it.
Yeah, that's how I would get more energized.
Amazing.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the thing that's going to improve your life. If you could only do one thing to improve your life, I'd look at my life and think, what's the thing in my life that I need to work on, and then try and find a way to love that.
And I think that's what you've done with habits.
Yeah. Just like, what are the things that I really need to work on the most, and then find a way to love it.
Amazing.
Brilliant. I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier about community. We've not really kind of gone into it. Why is the community aspect important to you, or is it important to you?
Yeah, it's super important, although I didn't know it when I first came in. I'll always remember when I first came in the first time for my strategy session, when I did my strategy session, and then Mike took me into the gym, and it was a Saturday, and there were girls in, and they were doing TBS or Saturday circuits, but there was like 10 girls, and everyone was doing kettlebells, and I think you said, oh yeah, Liz is doing, just come in for a run, and everyone was like, yeah, come and join us. And I was like, oh.
Sounds like a cult.
Yeah, just come and join us. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could lift that kettlebell, but give it a go.
Sorry, just to clarify, was this in your strategy session, your induction, or was it your first session?
It was my strategy session.
Yeah, so right at the start.
Right at the start, yeah, and it was like Ash. I'm sure it was Ash. I mean, I can't remember now, but they were like girls, and they were really happy and enjoying what they were doing, and they were like, yeah, just come and join. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, but I'll give it a go. So and that was really, really kind of, was it like, oh, that was really welcoming in the community. And it didn't take any time at all to make friends at AKR. And that wasn't something that I was expecting, obviously, because I thought that gyms were like intimidating places and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So actually, it didn't take long at all before you were able to make friends, and that kind of made the whole experience more fun and enjoyable as well. So
brilliant.
And you're like coming to see your friends.
Yeah, so it's easy to walk through the door when you know there's people there that you
want to see.
They want to see you,
them.
And it makes the hour not just fun for fitness, but it gives you that little bit of community, that family feel.
Yeah, social interaction. It's always a joy when do you know what it always reminds me of? I don't know if it's really old now, but you know Cheers. Has anyone ever watched Cheers?
I think this should be the theme tune for this podcast.
Well, do you know? And you walk in,
where everybody knows your name.
But like in Cheers, every week, like Norm walks in, and everyone goes, "Hey Norm!" Yeah, and it always feels a little bit like, oh, hey, and I kind of almost walk in and I go like, hey Emma, hey, and I kind of
so you get, hey Liz.
Yeah, like in my head that's kind of.
Ashuda actually does this just as we're starting. You're like, Liz, you need to come back and start. We need to get this. We need to get going here, and you're wandering around the gym.
So you would say through the last almost 6 years, you've found a place where you belong and you just love being a part of.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. It's just like this. Considering this is like the first gym that I kind of walked into, like if I'd walked into any other gym, it might not have been like this. But because this was the one gym that I walked into, it was like it was made for someone like me.
Like you said, your planets were aligned.
Yeah, the planets aligned. Yeah.
So you found the community inside. You found everything fun, friendly. Have you taken that outside as well? Have you met up with people outside? Like, what have you been?
Oh yeah, we met. Oh well, the heady days of the AKR social.
The heavy days.
Of the AKR socials. So yeah, and yeah, obviously it's been difficult to do that during lockdown, but prior to lockdown, we're still in touch with people with
I can't
from
believe
AKR.
we've gone so long without mentioning it.
I know, but it's hard to talk about meeting up with people outside without talking about that, isn't
definitely.
it? But before that, yeah, we were always in about each other's stuff.
It's not that kind of place.
So it depends which member you are. No. But no, yeah, no, that's really been a really important part, and it's really nice when something happens in your life and people ask you about it, and vice versa. So if, you know, remember when Kizzy died, people like a couple of people came and dropped off, you know, some flowers or something like that. And equally, when somebody else has an event in their life, it's just nice to know that
People
you know,
care.
People care, yeah, and it's really genuine. So.
So what's one thing you're looking forward to when the gym reopens then?
Apart from AKR socials.
They might still be a while off.
I don't know, but we could put walking things or something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
we could
definitely.
do all that. Just really I'm really looking forward to being able to lift something that's not a kettlebell or not that I don't love the resistance bands, but I'll be really glad to be able to do an overhead press with something that's not a...
It's always your favourite. Like it's always your favourite exercise. Whenever I've got Lizzie, are we doing overhead press today?
Oh,
we doing overhead press?
Would
Would that be your favourite exercise in the gym, the overhead press? Or have you got like a list that you... Like, when I come to the gym today, I really want to try and persuade the coach to let me do overhead press, deadlifts. And what have you got? What's your
Well, go
your
through
list?
phases, I suppose, because obviously I really loved... All I wanted to do for a while was like
Deadlifts.
hanging upside down on the rings. And then all I wanted to do for a while was handstands.
Yeah, I remember that phase.
Yeah, and I still want to do handstands. And I still want to hang upside down on the rings. But
Rings? What rings?
And but yeah, I quite like doing chest press. I love doing overhead press, and I quite like doing deadlifts as well. I like those three things, which is good because it's all the movements.
Yeah.
All the strong ones.
Yeah. But I still love skipping. I want to do skipping all the time. All of that stuff.
It's funny, we have Lizzie on Zoom, and I'm like, Lizzie, are you involved in this session?
No,
Or
it disappears.
disappears every second.
Do you know, it's just because, do you know why I was thinking about this? Because I thought, do you know, this morning you said that to me, you're like, you just keep disappearing. And do you know why? It's because when it was lockdown in the winter and it was just that really freezing cold, dark mornings at 7:15 turning up, and whenever you went outside in the morning, it'd be cold and it'd be freezing. It was awful. But then slowly every day, you would be like, oh, it's getting a bit lighter, and it's getting a bit lighter. And then suddenly you're like, it's daylight, and now it's getting a bit warmer. And it just felt like such a long, hard winter of doing that now, if it's sunny and it's bright outside, I kind of want to do as much of it as I can outside, just because it's so lovely to be outside.
So would you say showing up at 7:15 is just like you would here? It's an appointment, you're showing up, you want to train. And for you, it probably doesn't matter what you're doing. You're here, you're working hard, and you're surrounded by familiar faces.
By familiar faces, doing things that I enjoy in an environment that makes you feel confident and accepted to just be yourself.
I know where to go from there.
Well, I don't know, but I know that I could probably be a bit of a handful sometimes, but you guys never punish me for that, so...
You can't punish someone for being themselves. And
No, that's what we're all about.
It's like,
a
yeah,
safe
go
space.
and do a handstand.
On you go, Lizzie. On you go.
every now and again we just, okay, fine if you need to.
Or I'll go, Jace, go and do what...
Yeah, you get me to do the handstands.
You go and do that thing where you have to be like, what's that flag thing so that you do on the rings where you have to like be horizontal but holding on to all that.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I've held some gymnastic rings as well.
You really I quite like getting other people to do things so I can see as well.
So just to summarise, before we summarise actually, do you have any questions for us?
I was not told that I was
Yeah, I wasn't
going to
told
be
this.
given
I was
this
like,
I'm throwing
opportunity.
you under the bus here.
But I'm gonna ask both of you the same question. So I'll ask Lindsay first. Oh God, I wish I'd known this. I would have loved to have known this was going to be.
I plead the fifth.
Okay, and then I'm going to just ask Lindsay, what is in light of everything that's happened over the last year or so, what is the thing you'd like to achieve when we come out of lockdown if by the end of this year? What's going to be great? What's going to be the thing that you'd be most happy about
in life?
Yeah, just in life.
For me, I think moving into my new house just I think it was the middle of the world kind of opening last year. Obviously, I bought the house and I've been chipping away at that, but I'm so excited to be able by summer to have the garden finished.
Oh.
So I can have people over, I can sit out there, and the Wi-Fi reaches. Just letting you know. So I think that would be the one thing that I'm most looking forward to. And for work purposes, just being back coaching people, just being with people again. I've really missed that.
Were you interested in gardening before you moved into this?
I never really had a garden. So
you didn't know that
I didn't know, but yeah, I love it.
It's great,
yeah,
is it?
Yeah, I really love it. Yeah, that was a great question.
It's
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah.
Do I get a different question?
No, I'm really curious.
Shake the pile and get a different one.
No,
Can I just get what's your favourite colour or something?
No, we're going for the fields.
Yeah, go for the fields.
Give me the question then.
The question was and actually you could say like what Lindsay said, in your work life and your home life, what are going to be the best things about coming out of lockdown?
Oh, I wish I had time to prepare a monologue.
It's from the heart, Jace.
Yeah.
I think the best thing for sort of personal life is, like Lindsay, I've got a new house, so just being able to go out and experience shopping for it, like actual physical shopping for it, so you're not stuck within, not having returns online and then you have to wait to do I pay the credit card? Do I not pay the credit card? Is the refund going to come through in time? What am I going to? So there's that pain to it. One of the big things I'm super looking forward to getting is I get married this year. I was meant to get married last year, so planning that and having that experience, actually experience that rather than try to do it all through. It sounds bizarre. We had a Zoom cake tasting.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah, but we didn't have any cake.
They never sent it.
So it was just us on a screen with this lady going, so this is a nice cake. Oh, I'll take your word for it then. What?
She was just sitting eating cake and you were watching her on Zoom.
That looks good. So yeah, that's probably my main
Did you
priority.
pay for that?
Did you pay for that?
I'll do a Zoom cake eating for you.
In professional is, I just want to go back to being the best hour of someone's day. If I can make someone happy, make them leave feeling a little bit better, I've done my job, so I'm happy, and I guess that's kind of what I define success as. So that's
There we
my,
go.
my
Well, congratulations to both of you on your
Thank
new
you.
houses. That's going to be something nice that when we come out of lockdown, we've achieved that.
it's time to flip the script. Lizzie.
Well, I am, in my personal life, I'll be delighted when my puppy turns into a young dog.
It doesn't get any better.
Oh, God.
The terrible twos will come.
Oh, no, I've
There's no word. Lizzie's lost for words
I
here.
am, honestly.
Lost for words.
I'll be delighted when Benjamin's, because he's like peak teenager at the minute, so he's doing I'll do what I want.
Stubborn.
Yeah, and yeah, getting the house looking nice, but also coming back to AKR and so all the same things as you.
Yeah, so I think
Brilliant.
what the sort of did you have something to say?
No, I'm just leaning in,
Oh.
just listening.
I've got one more question that I think will summarise this chat quite well. Lizzie, what does being a part of AKR mean to you?
Oh, well, it's kind of like everything that I've said. It's kind of like.
So just go back and listen.
No, summarise it for
Yes.
us.
Do you know, there was a time a couple of years ago when I was doing so many things for so many people and I was really overwhelmed by everything that was going on in my life, and I made a conscious decision that I had to resort my life out, and I prioritised AKR and I got rid of so many stuff in my life, and ever since I've done that, my life feels so much more in control. feel like I get so much more out of my life, and I suppose it just helps me to feel more energized in everything that I do.
Sounds like it's more than just a gym for you.
It is definitely, it's a way of life. Bruce calls it a cult.
Well, if you look at the definition of cult, there's a paying membership. Most people wear the same things.
Yeah.
So, there's a leader.
There's a leader. I know, and like I've walked around all lockdown with my AKR stuff on, and Bruce is like, "Do you work for AKR now?"
Yes,
yes, I'm the rep.
Yeah.
Well, Lizzie, it's been an absolute... I've been cut off.
No, I've just suddenly realised I could be an AKR rep.
Rocking around the streets.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day we'll think about it. So yeah, I just wanted to say it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you over the last 6 years, and bring on the next 6.
Yeah.
Yay!
And thank you.
Liz, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It hasn't felt like a show.
All right, folks,
It's
just been great. Nice to see you.
That is it from us. Thank you so much for listening. That's it. That's season 1. Season 1 in the bag. We are hopefully coming back for season 2, right?
Back next season.
Back next season. Folks, if you've enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed all the other episodes, please like, share, rate, review, send them to friends, send them to family, tag us on social media. It's at AKR_fitness. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the gym soon.